Hi, this is Ruth Brunner. I have the pleasure today of interviewing Betty Detter about her husband Henry Detter's work on moving the American Legion in Windsor, Colorado. Today is July 26th, 2023, but what day did they actually start, or year did they start moving the American Legion, Betty?
I have no idea. I know he got out of the service in 46 and he went back to the meetings at some building. I don't know where it was at. And that's where they met. And then they decided that the prisoner of war camp was going to be closed down. And so they thought, well, they'd, use one of the officers' quarters for the building to be moved into Windsor. And so the veterans around here, they were mostly farmers, and they'd would work on their farm in the daytime, and then in the evening, after chore time and everything, they'd come in and work on it. And they would there was no equipment like there is today to dig a basement and a cement mixer or anything. Everything was done by shovel and a wheelbarrow and a cement mixer by hand. And so after they got the foundation all done, it was all cinder blocks that they had to put cement, a mortar, in between them cinder blocks for the foundation. They didn't have it poured, the whole thing at once. And they would work through the evening until they got good and tired or ran out of cement or something, and then they'd go home, and the next night they'd come in and do it again.
And that was after farming all day.
Yeah.
So who are some of the other men besides your husband?
I think
Henry
there was
Detter?
Henry Haas, there was a Jacoby, there was a Victor Kinsfather, there were several other ones that he had mentioned years ago, but I think Helmut Kurtz might have been in with one of them. I'm not sure. But anyway, there'd be maybe 6 or 10 guys every night would show up. Maybe they didn't all show up at one time, but they would take turns out.
Wow. So
working.
where did they locate the Legion?
Legion?
It's
back on Ash Street.
Between 7th and 6th?
Yeah, between 7th and 6th, yeah.
Who owned that land, or how did they acquire it?
I have no idea about that. I think that was just a vacant lot there that the town owned probably, and the railroad, runs right behind it, so they could have even gotten it from the railroad, permission to put it there.
So what'd they do with the basement floor? Wasn't there a roller skating rink there?
Yeah,
What was it all used for?
it was 2-story, they had the basement there, and they had a roller skating rink down there, and that's where the kids used to go and roller skate on at nights or on weekends when their parents were go grocery shopping or something. They dropped the kids off there and have roller skating till they got tired and had to go home.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there's the upstairs was the building then that they moved in, and that was the officers' quarters that they had out on the prisoner of war camp, and the rest they tore down then.
Barracks, or some they sold for motels, or who knows if they, I think to Greeley or different things, but the nicest building came to us.
Right.
All right. So was it always that pretty knotty pine in there?
Yes, yes, yeah. As far as I know, anyway.
Yeah.
It's been there ever since I known it. And
And
I've been here 70 years, so.
70 years, so.
Yeah.
Wow, how many years old? The building, I think it's, let's say 48, it's 75 years, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so what kind of events did you attend there, or what things were?
Well, we had our wedding reception there, and it was hot in July the 12th. It was 103 degrees and no air conditioning in that building. We had over 250 people in there, and it was hot.
Was that your wedding reception?
Yeah.
Oh, what year, after Henry got back from the war?
Yeah, we got married in July the 12th, 1953.
Okay.
And then when we celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary, we had a dance and a reception back there, and it was another 103 degrees. Every year was 103 degrees on July the 12th.
That was,
Yeah.
So what kinds of events did they do to honor the veterans in the building?
They would have Memorial Day breakfast, Labor Day breakfast, and then they would burn the flags, the old flags once or what, I don't know how many times, but I know I went back with a bunch of flags that we had and watched them burn, and it's quite a ceremony that they put on at that time.
I know when I went in the basement, they had some of the flags they would put out at the cemetery on Memorial Day.
The Boy Scouts put flags out on Memorial Day and crosses. And a year ago, 2 years ago, they put wreaths out at Christmas. Christmas wreaths with a red ribbon in it, and they were real nice.
So was the outside of the building stucco or when they moved it, or was that added on to it?
I think it was stucco right away. That was probably the cheapest that they could go with or something.
How did they get it here? I mean, from Greeley. It was outside of Greeley on Highway 34.
Down, it'd be about 3 miles, like maybe not even 3 miles, maybe 2.
Oh, maybe 5 or 6 to get there, I would think, because it was halfway to Greeley. But
no, it was just right up on the hill. I would say 1,000 feet or maybe better, more than that, maybe. East of 34 now. It was right on the highway there. Yeah. So I would say 2.5 miles from where it's at now.
Okay.
And I guess they trucked it in with a big truck on a big flatbed. Probably pulled it in with horses. I don't know.
Yeah.
Henry just said that they moved it in there. So
they moved it in. It's amazing what man's willpower and determination and strength can do.
Yeah. He said he had been at a lot of meetings. He was a member for 78 years. So he was pretty active. He always helped with funeral services for veterans that they knew of stuff, and he was always during Labor Day they'd march, Memorial Day they'd march, and
so why do you think the American Legion is significant to Windsor's history?
Well, I think it brought a lot of people together, to honor the veterans, and it meant something to them. And with our church, the church that I and Henry had gone to, St. John's, they had 63 boys that were in the service in World War II.
Wow.
And some families had 3 and 4 and maybe 5 sons in the service at one time.
So this was a gathering place for them when they came back, or for the parents for support. So, well, you're a wealth of history. Anything else you want to tell me about before we end, about the Legion or what you remember?
It was a nice, they had a lot of dances back there, and they supported them, and helped out with whatever they needed to be done.
How about the kitchen? Was the kitchen always there, or was that added?
The kitchen, they've done remodeling since then, but they had a little bit of a kitchen there, but and they had a big stove, and they'd have pancake breakfasts and stuff, on this big grill. You wonder how they got all the dough on there, but they did.
And they had Dutch hops.
Oh yeah,
always on Labor Day weekend. Dutch hops, because it's our 100th anniversary of the Harvest Festival. So that was important time. They had
there was a lot of bands that came and played. In fact, the one fella just passed away, John Fritzler. Polka band, and that was really kind of
Did they play bingo back there too? Or?
Yes, they did play. I think it was on Wednesday nights or Thursday nights, and then they'd have in November they have a turkey trot, and they'd give out turkeys, free dinner. And then I think there was a couple of years or so that there was a family that made turkey dinners back there for homeless and anybody that didn't have a place to go, they fed them. That's been years ago, though.
It was Windsor's reasonable place to rent and gather and socialize. It really brought community together. So the American Legion Post, what number was it?
109.
109. And thanks, Betty, for telling us about it.
Yeah, thank you.